The ZeBlaze Vibe 6 is an amazing affordable smartwatch, and for $45 it checks a lot of boxes of features that are usually found in much more expensive packages. Some of the highlights of this watch are an amazing battery life, reportedly capable of achieving 2 whole weeks of use, a capable responsive display, and it even monitors blood pressure. How cool is that? By the way, if you're interested in this watch, I have a link in the description and a coupon code if you want to support the channel, and you get a nice discount as well, so it's a win-win. But let's talk about the design. The first thing you notice with this smartwatch is it's pretty big. It kind of reminds me of the G-Shock watches back in the day. If you like big watches, this could definitely be your thing. When I first got it, I preferred a smaller form factor, but it has really grown on me in my 2 weeks of testing, and it's been a joy to use. The buttons on the watch feel good when in use, and they feel responsive and tactile. The watch is made of plastic, but has some metal bezels that add to a more premium feel. It really feels sturdy and doesn't feel cheap when wearing it. I wouldn't say it's a particularly heavy watch to hold, but it also doesn't feel too light or cheap feeling. The bands also are really good, and especially for this price point. They feel soft to the touch and are super easy to take on and off. I've come across a lot of cheap feeling bands, and this one is not one of them. The screen on this watch is a 1.3-inch IPS panel, and I wouldn't say it has deep contrast like an OLED screen or as sharp, but I would definitely say it gets the job done and is very responsive to the touch. Text in the OS from notifications are sharp enough to read without any problems, and it's definitely easy to get used to. It doesn't have a touch to wake feature, but you can wake up the screen via raise to wake or touching the power button on the right side of the watch. It takes some getting used to, but for the price, I'm nitpicking here. Performance on the ZeBlaze Vibe 6 is surprisingly capable. It might not have the strongest processor in the world, but it definitely gets the job done. I don't feel the watch is bogged down by the processor, and everything runs smoothly. I haven't been dealing with any stutters after extensive use from using the watch, from playing music to phone calls and the occasional notification. The software on this watch takes a little bit to get used to, but it's not bad at all. Animations are pretty smooth and apps are easy to navigate to. You swipe to the left or right to get to the apps on the watch, and swipe up to view any music or video that is playing on your phone. I've had no issues with this functionality, and you can even control the volume. Very nice for a sub $50 smartwatch. The only thing about the software that can be a bit subpar would be that there is no gesture to view notifications. To view them, you have to go into the app list and click notifications, and now you're able to scroll through them. However, when you receive a notification, it appears on the watch and it's available to see when you raise to wake the watch or turn on the screen. So it's really not that much of an inconvenience as I thought it would be. Also, there are some very nice features like blood pressure monitoring, Bluetooth calling, and fitness tracking on the watch. The blood pressure feature, I'm not totally convinced it's the most accurate sensor in the world, but as long as it's in the ballpark, it's a very nice feature to have. Just make sure that when you do use it to keep your hands resting on a table, for example, to get a more accurate result. Other features like fitness tracking works just as you would expect, and I have no complaints there. The only thing that might be a little bit off is the step counter. It counts way too many steps throughout the day, but it's not something I take too seriously anyway. I used the sleep tracking feature and it works pretty nicely, having an accurate time of sleep with all the nice little details like light and deep sleep duration. The battery life department is also surprisingly good. I thought with an IPS screen instead of a more power-saving OLED panel would affect the battery life, but this is definitely not the case. Battery life has lasted me a whole week easily, and still had a little bit more left in the tank if I really needed it. As a side note, I wasn't using continuous heart rate monitoring or things like that, but it still is pretty impressive. If one of your top priorities in a smartwatch is great battery life, you really can't go wrong with this smartwatch. The ZeBlaze Vibe 6 is an amazing smartwatch when considering the price tag. It has a week-long battery life, good enough performance, and some nice apps like blood pressure monitoring. It might not have third-party apps or an OLED screen, but it nails the essentials in a $45 package that is hard to find anywhere else. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you liked it, like and subscribe to the channel, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Peace.